Today we will study about ureotelism. Ureotelism is a phenomenon in which the animals excrete urea as their principal nitrogenous waste product. Urea compared to ammonia is less toxic, so it can be retained in the body for a longer time. It can be retained in the blood for a longer time. So when water is available, it can be eliminated compared to ammonia elimination. Ammonia is a readily formed waste, but it is to be eliminated as soon as it is formed because it is highly toxic. But this is not the case with urea. So it is less water soluble than ammonia, and therefore for excreting urea there is minimum water loss. So this is also considered to be an adaptation for a semi-terrestrial mode of life. Whenever the organism gets water, it can be eliminated. Humans are best examples. So occasionally we eliminate urine through which urea is eliminated from the body. It is not like a continuous excretion of ammonia that the monotelic organisms do. But ureotelic organisms periodically remove urea from their body in the form of urine. What are the organisms that resort to ureotelism? The cartilaginous fishes, the lungfishes when they are in water, but during summer season they go for other modes of excretion. Then frogs and toads, mammals, the crocodiles when they are in water, the turtles when they are in water, and the earthworms on hot days resort to ureotelism. So these are the examples where we can find ureotelism. In cartilaginous fishes, this urea, some amount of the urea is retained as a blood solute, so that it contributes to the concentration or osmolarity of the blood. So by keeping urea in their blood, they try to maintain the same osmolarity with the surrounding medium. So urea is used as a solute in their blood to make their blood isosmotic to the medium, by which water loss can be prevented. Now coming to urea formation. Urea is synthesized in the liver through a cycle of reactions which is called as urea cycle or ornithine cycle or Krebs-Hansliet cycle, named after the discoverers of the reaction. This urea which is synthesized in the liver is secreted to the bloodstream. From there it is taken to the kidneys for excretion through urine. And in urea cycle there are 5 enzymatic reactions which are catalyzed by the 5 enzymes which are carbamoyl phosphate synthase, ornithine transcarbamylase, arginosuccinate synthase, arginosuccinase and arginase. Now we will go to the reactions one by one. So this is the first step catalyzed by the enzyme carbamoyl phosphate synthetase, where we can see ammonia and bicarbonate. They undergo condensation in the presence of 2 moles of ATP to form an activated compound known as carbamoyl phosphate. So this is an activation step. Ammonia is getting activated to carbamoyl phosphate, and this step is catalyzed by the enzyme carbamoyl phosphate synthetase. Now the second reaction. This carbamoyl phosphate, it combines with ornithine to form a compound known as citrulline. This is catalyzed by the enzyme ornithine transcarbamylase, because the carbamoyl group of carbamoyl phosphate is given to ornithine, by which it is converted to citrulline. So this is the step which is catalyzed by the enzyme ornithine transcarbamylase. Now the third reaction. The third reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme arginosuccinate synthetase. So here you can see in the previous step we got citrulline. In this particular step, the citrulline is having a urido group. Citrulline is having a urido group. It combines with aspartate to form arginosuccinate. So what happens in the reaction is that the urido group of citrulline condenses with the amino group of aspartate to form arginosuccinate, which is catalyzed by the enzyme arginosuccinate synthetase, and here also ATP is being used up and it is converted to AMP and pyrophosphate. Now the fourth step. In the fourth step, this arginosuccinate is cleaved into fumarate and arginine in the presence of the enzyme arginosuccinase. So here what happens is that From this aspartate skeleton of arginosuccinate, this arginine is getting eliminated and fumarate is released as a byproduct which can enter into other reactions. So this is catalyzed by arginosuccinase. Now, arginine undergoes hydrolysis. That means it combines with water to get cleaved into two compounds, urea and ornithine. This is catalyzed by the enzyme arginase. So here what you can see is that you get urea as the product, and it is this urea which is synthesized in the liver and later taken to the kidney for elimination. Now, I called the name of the reaction as urea cycle, which is also called as ornithine cycle. Why is it so? Here, in the second step which I mentioned, I told you that carbamoyl phosphate combines with ornithine to form citrulline. And in the fifth step, you can see this ornithine comes back. That means it is recycled back. And it can enter into another cycle. So since in these series of reactions, ornithine is getting recycled, this reaction is also called as ornithine cycle. And this is a nutshell of the reactions which we mentioned earlier. That is the 5 steps. In the first step, carbamoyl phosphate is synthesized. In the second step, it combines with ornithine to form citrulline. In the third step, citrulline condenses with aspartate to form arginosuccinate. In the next step, arginosuccinate cleaves into arginine and fumarate. In the last step, arginine undergoes hydrolysis to form urea and ornithine is regenerated. And this is the reaction in a nutshell: ammonia, bicarbonate, and one more compound enters into the reaction, that is aspartate, and finally we get urea and fumarate. Ornithine is recycled and there is expenditure of 3 moles of ATP.